The right decision was made for Team USA, who they're chasing gold. That's the goal. That is the ultimate mission, to put the best team possible out on the floor to go win a gold medal. Why was Caitlin put on the team? And if they felt like their only answer was going to be based on marketing, or their best answer or their best reason was based on marketing, when the committee was thinking about putting this team together, they considered what Jen Rosati's answer would be when asked, why was Caitlin put on the team?
Did Cheryl Reeve just drop a bombshell about Caitlin Clark's Olympic snub? The USA women's basketball coach claims she had no power over team selection. Wait, what? Isn't she on the selection committee? Something's not adding up here, and you won't believe what's really going on behind the scenes. Caitlin Clark, the basketball sensation, isn't going to the Olympics? It's true, and people are losing their minds over this. They're saying it's one of the biggest letdowns in American sports history. Can you imagine? The player everyone's been talking about left off the team? But here's where it gets crazy. Cheryl Reeve, the USA coach, just said something that's turning this whole story upside down.
I think it's more of, the official announcement has not been made by USA Basketball, so it'd be premature for me to have any conversations about any player or anything.
You know how everyone thought she was the one who made the call? Get ready for this. Reeve says she had nothing to do with it. Yeah, you heard that right. The coach of the national team is saying she doesn't pick the players. That's insane. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Now, you might be thinking, if Reeve didn't make the call, why is she taking all the heat? Well, get this. She's got a pretty shocking explanation, and it involves a completely different player that'll make you see this whole situation in a new light.
She hasn't had an off-season to train at the professional level. She's been playing basketball since November. We've seen what the physicality. Caitlin is having an amazing rookie season. I commend Caitlin for what she's been able to do as a rookie. No, Caitlin is being excluded because she hasn't participated in any camps the way other rookies that were included on Team USA for the women's basketball side participated in a camp. Other rookies had USA experience. She hasn't been a professional very long, and you have to imagine every other country that's paying attention to women's basketball in the United States knows about Caitlin, and they would try to go out her times 10.
Reeve just came out and said she had no power over team selection. Yeah, you heard that right. The coach of the USA women's basketball team is claiming she doesn't pick the players. Can you believe that? It's like a chef saying they don't choose the ingredients for their restaurant. Sounds crazy, right? But here's where it gets even wilder. Reeve isn't just talking about Caitlin Clark. She brought up a whole other situation that proves her point. Remember Kayla McBride? Reeve said, "I thought Kayla McBride had a strong training camp and earned a spot on the World Cup roster. MCB ultimately did not make the final cut." That's huge. Reeve's basically saying, look, I couldn't even get one of my own players on the team before. This isn't just about Caitlin. So what's really going on here? Reeve's on the selection committee, right? But she's saying she doesn't have the final say. It's like being on the jury but not getting to vote. Something's not adding up, and it's making this whole Olympic team drama even messier. Think about it. We've got one of the hottest players in basketball right now, Caitlin Clark, left off the team. Everyone's pointing fingers at Reeve, but now she's saying, hey, don't look at me. I didn't make this call. It's like she's caught in the middle of a basketball version of Game of Thrones. And you know what's even crazier? This isn't just about one player. Reeve's statement opens up a whole can of worms about how these teams get picked. If the coach doesn't have the power, who does? Is it all politics? Are there other factors we don't know about? Here's the deal. Reeve's taking the heat, but she's saying she's not the one making these calls. It's like she's the face of the team, but someone else is pulling the strings behind the curtain. And that someone decided Caitlin Clark, despite all her skills and popularity, wasn't going to make the cut. Hold up. If Reeve's just a figurehead, then who's really running this show? The selection committee's looking shadier by the minute, and Caitlin Clark's Olympic dreams are caught in the crossfire. Let's break down this whole mess and see who's really pulling the strings.
Caitlin Clark has brought an unprecedented level of interest and excitement to our game, and we are thrilled to be able to bring that to the world stage.
Played on elite teams, and I know this might not be your area as far as Caitlin Clark's, and that's fine. But listen, how important is team chemistry?
I think team chemistry is definitely important, and I think there's veterans.
Because the world's getting better. Like, just to be like, oh, they're good enough, they can sacrifice what they feel like would be the best team because they're already good enough is the most mediocre approach to chasing a goal. Why would you not put together?
You'd think picking the Olympic team would be simple, right? Just choose the best players and call it a day. But nah, it's way more complicated than that. We're talking about a whole committee of people, each with their own agendas and ideas about who should make the cut. So here's the deal. Reeve's on this committee, but she's saying she doesn't have the final say. It's like being invited to a party but not getting to choose the music. You're there, but you're not really in control. And that's where things get wild. Think about it. We've got all these big shots on the committee. Coaches, former players, maybe even some suits from USA Basketball. They're all throwing their weight around, trying to get their favorites on the team. It's not just about who's the best player anymore. It's about politics, connections, and maybe even a little bit of old school thinking. Now let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. She's been lighting up college basketball, breaking records left and right. You'd think she'd be a shoo-in for the Olympic team, right? But here's where it gets messy. Maybe some of the old guard on the committee think she needs more experience. Or maybe they're worried she'll outshine some of the veteran players. And you know what's even crazier? This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. Reeve brought up Kayla McBride, another player she thought deserved a spot but didn't make the cut. It's like there's this whole other game being played behind the scenes, and we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. So what's really going on here? Is it all about experience? Are they trying to balance the team with different types of players? Or is there some kind of power play happening that we don't know about? It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Here's what I think is happening. There's a whole game being played off the court, and Caitlin Clark just got caught in the middle of it. The committee's probably split, with some people pushing for new blood and others wanting to stick with the tried and true. And poor Reeve? She's stuck in the middle, taking the heat for a decision she claims she didn't even make. It's like a basketball version of Game of Thrones with all these different factions fighting for control. And just like in that show, the person sitting on the throne might not be the one with the real power. Reeve might be the coach, but it looks like she's not the one calling all the shots. Here's a wild thought. What if not going to the Olympics is actually the best thing for Caitlin Clark's career? Think about it. No jet lag, no Olympic burnout, just a laser focus on crushing it in the WNBA. Are we about to see Clark's breakout moment? While everyone's been caught up in the Olympic drama, Caitlin Clark's been quietly making moves. You might not have noticed, but the Indiana Fever are in the playoffs. Yeah, that's right. While all this controversy's been swirling around, Clark's been leading her team to victory. But here's where it gets really interesting. Clark's not just playing well, she's dominating. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this Olympic snub is the secret sauce to her success. Picture this. While other players are jetting off to Paris, getting worn out by intense international competition, Clark's staying home. She's resting. She's focusing. She's getting ready to absolutely light up the WNBA. Think about it. No long flights, no adjusting to a new time zone, no dealing with the pressure of representing your country on the world stage. Instead, Clark's got all her energy focused on one thing, tearing it up in the league. And let's be real, the WNBA playoffs are no joke. They're intense, they're grueling, and they require everything a player's got. Now, imagine Caitlin Clark, fresh as a daisy, stepping onto that court. While other players might be feeling the Olympic fatigue, she's ready to go. But it's not just about being rested. This whole situation, it's fuel. You think Clark's not motivated by this snub? You better believe she's using it to push herself even harder. Every game, every play is a chance for her to show the world what they're missing. And here's the kicker. This could be the start of something huge. We're talking about a player who's already breaking records in college. Now she's got a chip on her shoulder and something to prove. The WNBA better watch out, because Caitlin Clark's coming in hot. So yeah, missing the Olympics sucks. Nobody's saying it doesn't. But for Caitlin Clark, this might just be the beginning of an even bigger story. While everyone's eyes are on Paris, she could be setting the WNBA on fire. Remember, sometimes the biggest setbacks lead to the biggest comebacks. And Caitlin Clark? Her story's just getting started. The Olympic Committee might think they've made their decision. Clark's about to show them and the whole world exactly what they're missing out on. So what's the real deal here? Reeve's saying she didn't make the call on Clark, and it looks like there's some serious behind-the-scenes drama going on. But you know what? maybe this whole Olympic snub thing isn't as bad as we thought for Caitlin Clark. Think about it. While everyone's freaking out about the Olympics, Clark's over here leading her team to the playoffs. She's not dealing with jet lag or international pressure. She's just focused on dominating the WNBA. And let's be real, this snub, it's probably lit a fire under her. Every game now is a chance for her to show the world what they're missing. The WNBA better watch out, because Clark's coming in hot. Sometimes the biggest setbacks lead to the biggest comebacks, and Caitlin Clark, her story's just getting started. The Olympic Committee might think they've made their decision, but Clark's about to show them and all of us exactly what she's made of.